them coming from a distance. Yeah, want us to be afraid, but I not shiver nor piss man. Lion not soldier, Jah is my shield and my resistance.
I'm Al McFarlane. Welcome to Conversations with Al McFarlane. Opening today's program with the music of my cousin from Jamaica, Phil McFarlane. His band is called Earth Cry. That tune was called Hard Road, and we'll maybe hear some more of it later on today. I'm going to be using Phil's music, along with the music of my brother, Wayne McFarlane, Wayne of the storied Ipso Facto music organization here in Twin Cities, over the next weeks and months to introduce the program and to add flavor to these conversations. Kind of reminding you of how we used to do it at Lucille's Kitchen. If you don't remember, for about maybe 7-8 years, we held court every Monday or Tuesday morning in a program that we called the Insight KMOJ Public Policy Forum. Later, it morphed into conversations with Al McFarlane, bridging both my KFAI program and the public policy work that we were doing at Lucille's Kitchen. But in those programs, we had live band opening up and then providing interludes between different guests on the program. Wayne was the musical director. Wayne McFarlane and his band Ipso Facto are variations of it. In fact, the band he had for Lucille's Kitchen was called Jahz, Jahz. But listening to Phil just now reminds me of the power of music and the power of the spirit, and how Wayne, as an intuitive, I think, genius musician, and I think all musicians are genius, has the capacity to perceive the moment and create lyrics on the spot, vibrations on the spot, musical vibrations on the spot that reflected the conversation, the topic that was at hand, that also questioned people who were insincere or unclear or sinister in their motives, simply wanting to use our platform to advance interests that did not really reflect the interest of our people or of humanity. And so I love music for that power, for its ability to elevate and clarify the presence and the work of the spirit. So we'll be doing that as we go forward in these programs. I'm Al McFarlane. I'm your host here at Conversations with Al McFarlane. And what we're doing now, every day at noon, roughly, for the rest of the month, and hopefully beyond that, is a series of interviews with people in community who are working together, either under contract or grant or in any other way, to be part of the community response to the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm pleased to have a dear friend and a person that I go back with. I go back with her and her mom and her family and her grandma, as a matter of fact. So we've got a long relationship, and that's Raisha Williams. Raisha Williams is the CEO and president of DF Media, Doll Face Media. And it's a marketing campaign that created the We Wear the Mask campaign. And she'll share that with you in the course of this conversation. She's also a person that is an entrepreneur. She, besides the media business, operated a service business, a restaurant, coffee shop in St. Paul. She also has had a commitment for community organizing. She was a serious candidate for City Council in Ward 5 in 2017. She's focused on housing, economics, education, community development, and effective youth and senior services. She is a fourth generation Black Minnesotan. And so she walks rooted in powerful history. Her grandmother, Adelia Nevels, and her mother, Rosemary Nevels Williams, have been champion advocates, pushing for change for the benefit and betterment of communities of color for the past 65 years here in Minnesota, and she certainly follows in those footsteps. Ra and I both were together in in Cape Coast, Ghana, some years ago during one of the Panifest events. And we've had a chance to just connect off and on over a variety of opportunities and challenges. Rod, good to see you again. Thank you for being here. Unmute your
Thank
mic.
you for having me.
Yeah. And so, a conversation, even if we haven't talked for a long time, is like we talked a minute ago, because
Yeah.
we both are committed to this vision of empowering our people. We respect and love our people. And it's with that respect and love for our people, we demonstrate what the respect for humanity and for the earth and for the environment mean. So I'm going to throw it to you. Talk about what's on your mind right now.
Yeah, whoa. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. And yes, it's an honor to always connect with you, Al. The roots go very deep between our connections. But now it's it's heart aching to see where we're at as humanity, and how our humanity and dignity has been taken away from us on many levels through COVID, racial injustice. My family and I right now are dealing with my uncle being in the hospital, my mom's youngest brother, for COVID, and having 3 heart attacks back to back while on a respirator. So please send our family in prayer. So
He was he
it's
was
very
he
real.
was with us in Ghana too, wasn't he? Was this it?
That was Sydney,
That was
Uncle
Sydney.
Sydney.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then the last one, yeah, you're right. Uncle Sydney is the baby, and Stuart's ahead of him, but
Okay.
also her baby
Okay.
brother. Yeah. And so, and then also having lots of distant relatives, friends and family have it. And it's just one of those things where it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So you
Hmm.
can't really, it's really hard to fathom that this is a real thing. It sounds like a movie. And so even when you try to process it and wear your mask and cover up, if you don't see it, if it doesn't touch you, like it hadn't touched us all year until recently, it still was hard to fathom that this is real, right? And so that's just sort of where we're at as a family, trying to figure out how do we continue to like buckle down and stay safe.
Hmm.
We were out there for majority of the George Floyd protest, and we're one of the few families out there. The very first day we did the protest, and being in those droves of people, my mom being her, in her 70s. So it's something on our mind, while we fight for racial justice, how do we keep our family safe,
Hmm.
and also our community, right? Black community safe. So that's what's sort of in the hearts and minds of us and myself.
Hmm. Let's talk more about your family, about your grandma and your mom. Just beautiful, wonderful, and powerful women, but a family. And I noticed it said 4 generations deep. So that's your grandma, your ma, you, and after you, or the one before your grandma. Tell me about that family tree.
Sure. So my grandmother, she actually, my mom's father was born and raised in the Twin Cities, so he was part of that great migration. Um, you can hear the fifth generation in the
Okay.
background. But so yeah, so my grandmother came here from Topeka, Kansas. She married into my grandfather's family, and then he was the first generation. My mom was the second. I'm technically the third, actually, and then my son would be the fourth.
Okay.
So and he wants to make a cameo, so we'll let him make a cameo. And
What,
so
what a handsome young man.
thank you. And so it means a lot, growing up here and being covered by the community such as yourself, and that really small Black community that we had when I was growing up was amazing. And it was a beautiful, very powerful way to grow up here. It was a bubble because you didn't know anything else. And times have certainly changed, and that's not necessarily the way that community is. And so it's important that we try to stay connected with community.
Hmm. What's your son's name?
Rocky Buckanaga. So Rocky is also half White Earth.
Half White Earth. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
And the
Rocky.
Buckanaga family is a long-standing native family here in the Twin Cities
The
too.
Buckanaga family is huge
Yeah, yeah,
and
it is.
powerful and
Very
just
powerful.
consequential. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, what are you doing? What's DF Media doing? Talk about the work you're doing to specifically be part of the COVID-19 response.
So right now we're working on our. I'm so sorry. Rocky does what he wants. I'm trying to keep him quiet, but he'll probably be a part of it. But right now with We Wear the Mask, we are just really encouraging the African American community to wear your mask, right? Like that's the first defense line of
Mhm.
protecting yourselves and your family. It's really interesting. There's one of the videos that I would like to share with you shortly by a young artist named Louis Blaze, who's making a lot of noise here in the Twin Cities. Amazing young artist. And when I asked him to be a part of it, he said, you know, sis, I don't know if I could be a part of it because I really believe in using, you know, minerals and vitamins and, you know, to fight it. And I said, yeah, me too, totally. But it's real, and to protect others, we have to cover up.
Mhm.
And so we did a video called Mask On with him. If I could share that with you, do
Yeah,
you mind?
please. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here I will go ahead and share that with you guys here
Mhm.
because it's a really great way to show how you know we're all doing it. So here I'm gonna share that with you guys. Here we go. Uh, well, I'll come back to it. I think I have to sort of figure out how to share that. But
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
but it's one of the videos I certainly would love to share with you because it's a really great video for young people. Our demographic was between 18 and 45, but we really want to hit those young people who are still having parties, who are still, you know, renting Airbnb parties or places to party because they obviously can't party in the club, but they're still really congregating together in close proximity and passing it on to one another. And they certainly may not be affected directly because they may be asymptomatic, but they have grandmas and aunts and you know, uncles and little children, you know, that they're
Mhm.
passing the virus on. So we really wanted to encourage them to mask up.
So, let's talk about that phenomenon because I've seen and heard people talking about youngsters, young people, just having parties almost in defiance. I mean, just, we all go through that period of invincibility in our thinking and thinking that, nothing can happen to us, or thinking that if it's my time, it's my time.
Sure.
Because I've heard young people say, oh, I'm probably not going to live past 19. And
Mm,
so therefore I want to make all the babies I can before I get 19. I've heard that language, right? That discussion
yeah,
in the community.
which is
Uh,
sad.
it really is. But there's a new weight now because of the, uh, fierce or phenomenal consequences, fatal consequences of COVID-19, if not for the 19-year-olds, but for people around them. And so you're addressing that, right? You're talking to, because that
Yeah.
community is still feeling like it
Oh,
can defy.
yeah, they're invincible. And
Yeah.
I get it, right? Like I totally get it. And it just really going back to what you said, it's very sad that the hopelessness is so prevalent that they don't have any vision for their future. And so even it's like Russian roulette, right? Like having
Mhm.
these COVID parties, knowing that it's killing people, it's taking people's breaths away. Even they have a lot of cases with young people. It's not the majority of cases, but certainly it's happening. And, you know, sometimes you have underlying health issues that you may not know of,
Mhm.
and then you catch COVID and then it wipes you out. And it's sad that they would even play this Russian roulette game of COVID parties just because they don't have any vision or future for themselves, right? Because
Mhm.
anybody who has some tangible goals or some things that they want in life, they're not going to live for the here and now, right? In that way. Sure, I get it. I was young. I wanted to party. I did party a lot. And you know, everybody when they're in that age, they want to be social with their peers, and I get that. But I think that it's really just encouraging to take a pause, right? To wait it out like the rest of us, figure out other ways to communicate and engage with people. Social media, right, is another way. And so that's why a lot of our campaign videos were targeted around social media. And I think Louis Blaze really like talks to his peer as well. That's why we went with him. So if I can now, I think I finally got it. I
Okay.
can share with you his video so
Mhm.
you can see
Yeah.
uh, I think you can see my screen now, right?
Go ahead. Yep.
Okay. All right.
No audio yet.
No audio?
No.
Oh no.
Yeah. Maybe Kelvin. Kelvin, is there a way to make sure we get the audio?
That's how about now?
Not yet. Not yet.
No.
So
Okay.
before you share, So right before you click share on that desktop image, you need to click share computer audio. It'll be a little check box like in the bottom left. So you need to. So now retry to share. Retry to share.
Okay, so share. Uh-huh.
In the bottom left, there should be an option that says share computer sound before you choose the window that you want to share.
Oh, okay. Let me try it again. Because we're recording, you can edit this.
Yeah, we're
that
live.
how-
But yeah, we can edit this later.
Well, we're
Oh.
going live too, but we're okay. I mean, this makes it real.
Oh, okay.
This is
Oh
real.
yes. Sorry, those who are watching us. This is very. I thought we were live, but then there was like moments where you guys were so patient that I was like, well, maybe we're not.
No, we're live.
Well, I'm on my phone, so it won't let you share. But maybe you can show it and or provide some links to it for
Right.
context later at.
Or Kelvin, do you have the video?
I do not.
Okay, can you send it to Kelvin? Kelvin,
Yeah. It
just
should
send
be
it
in
to
the email,
Kelvin.
but I'll send it to Calvin. No problem.
Kelvin at Insight News, and Kelvin can share it. Now, I have some images though that you sent. I want you to talk to these images. I'm going to put my screen up, and I've got maybe 4 or 5 images I think that you sent that you can speak about. So are you able to see that?
No.
No, maybe I'm not sharing yet. Here we go. I am sharing, I think.
Okay, now it's starting to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So those are it should the video link should be in there. There's no video links inside that email, Al? No?
Yeah. Let me just go through it here. But talk about these, and we'll see if the video comes
Sure.
through.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a great
So-
picture.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, let's start with this one. This is a perfect picture. This is Michael Fisher, and I think this is a great lead in because oftentimes Black creatives here in the Twin Cities, and Al, you could attest to this over the years, we don't get recognized for our work or our talents, and also oftentimes we're overlooked for the ability to produce really great professional pieces. So this is Michael Fisher. He's a local videographer, director, and editor. He has his own production company as well, and he is a phenomenal visualer. He did all of the video and editing for the We Wear the Mask master commercial campaign, which I really hope we can show you guys before we go. So I'll try to get that over to Calvin. But Michael Fisher is an amazing videographer and editor, and he worked really hard on our masterpiece. So then this is myself, Raisha Williams, and it was taken by a local Native American and Black sister who, Nadisha, I think is how you pronounce her name. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And she's, again, another creative, Black creative here in the Twin Cities. And so this is myself, and I was the producer for all of the videos and the creative director for the campaign. And then I think the next picture is going to be Leah Rowe. Oh, there we go. So that's our own hometown Rick Rock from the group, famous group Mint Condition. And Rick Rock did our scoring and music for the master commercial. We Wear the Mask, and so I want to give him some credit. And then who do we have next? This is Joe Davis, another amazing creative artist, local poet, actor, writer, director, does a lot of theater and live production work. And then last but not least, I think we have Miss Leah. So Leah Rose is one of my better half. We work on a lot of campaigns together side by side. She's a brilliant, genius creative director. She actually works at an ad agency here in the Twin Cities and does a lot of like national campaign work. And so she always comes on. And then this time she also directed, so it was not her director debut, but she directed the master campaign for We Wear the Mask. And she's phenomenal. So as you see, like our campaign was really intentional about working with Black creatives and circulating that dollar within the Black creatives, allowing them to have a platform to show their talents as well. And so not just targeting the information to our Black community, but also making sure that those who worked on it, those who created it were African American, because we speak to ourselves the best. Like we know what we're gonna what's gonna be impactful and how to grab our attention.
So Kelvin, I'm looking at the email and I do see the link to the video, and you should have received the email as well, Kelvin. Maybe you can look back to a note that came that said, "Hello, Kelvin and Carmen." that Raisha sent that had has the link in it. If you can find that, pull it up. Those pictures are phenomenal, and the stories you just told are marvelous. As you were speaking, Ra, I just tripped right back to over the past couple of nights. 2 nights ago, I watched Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yes.
And particularly when the image of the young brother that you described, his name is Davis, right? As a writer and poet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That image just popped August Wilson in my head. Because August Wilson created most of these phenomenal stories right there in St. Paul, in the neighborhood.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, you're right.
And so,
you're right.
And so the fact that you're creating both images, stories, collecting artists, and this Ma Rainey film is so powerful. So, did you see it yet? Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, we watched it, me and my mom was just in tears. It is very powerful. It's heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
It's heart-wrenching, and it's perfectly timely to remind us
of
the things that our ancestors, our parents, our grandparents had to go through and experience, their humanity, how it was just like, but even with their humanity just being constantly digged on, they still like had their head up high. And Ma Rainey, she was something else, wasn't she?
Amazing. Wasn't that amazing?
She was bad.
But the message is there. So 2 things come to mind. This is why I brought this up. Who knew when August was sitting over in a coffee house in St. Paul that what he was creating there, just like young brother Davis, right?
Yeah.
Is now, that it would eventually change the world of literature, that people are discussing August Wilson and his capacity as a wordsmith, his ability to capture the poetry that our lives represent, right? And to put it in words.
Yeah.
To do that and to have that be enacted on the stage is so phenomenal. So I'm saying that I'm looking at Davis differently. And you started off by saying that too often our people are not recognized. We take each other for granted. And the lesson right now, I believe, is that we have to pay attention to each other in ways we never have before. We should have, maybe we have in history, but now it's time to do it again, to really be super, ultra, uber aware, conscious in everything we say and do. And so I want to applaud you and just to praise you for what you're doing. I really do.
Thank you. Yeah,
Brenda, jump in and just add to this, build on this conversation, Brenda Gray.
I loved the way he wore his hat. That was the first thing that came to mind. I loved it. It took it all the way back.
He's a class act.
And Vine, Al.
Yep.
He's a class act. Yeah, I just want to.
Beautiful work, though.
Thank you. You said 2 things that in my mind is like just jumping as you're saying, because I was thinking about before we got on the phone call. So one is that you're right. We have to be more intentional about paying attention to each other. And it's not even like just paying attention to our young people while they're doing some phenomenal work, but there's a lot of elders that have a lot to give to the community too, right? And that middle age group. So I think just as a whole, we have to start like wrapping our arms around each other and say like, I see you, and what are your talents? What do you want to do? I think it's interesting. Reg Chapman, who's a really good family friend, Channel 4, he saw the commercial and he didn't know that I had produced it. And then he went and, did his journalistic dig and then found out I did. And he probably was like, I didn't know that was you. And so when he was sharing it with other people at the station, they were like, wait, that's activist Raisha? And he's like, yes. And, most people don't know that I have a degree from Howard University, just like Batalia, in journalism, television and film. And and my first 5 years of my career was at CNN TV1 and doing work with BET. And so producing has always been my passion, but it was a hard industry to get into, as you know. And so I had to go and do other things, and I created my own lane. And I started Dollface Media when I was in college with the vision, like one day I'll be able to do my own thing, and just having that vision. And now here we are almost 20 years later, I'm at the point where I can do that. Oh, perfect. Oh, okay, great. It's queued up.
Yeah, Kelvin, go ahead and start it.
We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile, with torn and bleeding hearts we smile. We wear the mask. Now we fighting racism and a virus. With our people dying at higher rates, it's systemic, the entire system is sick. We wear the mask to survive, not to hide our face. We wash our hands often, cover our face when sneezing and coughing. 6 feet apart is better than 6 feet deep in a coffin. We do all we can to safeguard ourselves and our kin. Hardships are harder when you're wearing dark skin, that's why we wear the mask. To protect the breath in our chest, we wear the mask. When we in these streets to protest, we wear the mask. And we can still keep it funky fresh as the power of our deeper body love is expressed when we wear the mask.
We wear the mask to keep our families and communities safe. For more information, visit mn.gov/COVID-19.
Wow, let me
Thank you.
That is great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Very creative. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't take credit. You know, we all, just like a gumbo, made the piece delicious. You know, everybody put their flavor into it, and I love this team. I have other creatives that I work with, but it's always about like creating a platform for them and not taking full credit, because without them, it wouldn't have been what it is. You know.
It gets your attention, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the goal. And you know, we're streaming now, so we've been doing a lot of streaming in terms of the commercial, playing the commercial, and we have to get in on you guys. And we've been doing some commercial airs on VH1 and BET, and hope to expand that here in the coming weeks. So we're just trying to get the message out the best way we know how, and really happy that you guys had us on today to sort of talk about the campaign.
Well, we're pleased too. And let me tell you that I'm very clear on my goal, and that goal is to lift you up as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and you as a creative. And so I want you to make sure you, with intention, tell people who are listening or viewing, who may read about this when we write the story, how to connect with you and how to purchase your services, because you're in the market, right? And you've got ideas and capabilities and resources that you are bringing forth that will help people solve their problems, and you do it as a matter of business, and business is a good thing to keep us together. What do you think about that?
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. And you always support me, even whatever avenue, whether it's at the tea house or when I was running for office. So thank you for always being there to support and propel what it is that I'm doing. But if you want to get in touch with me, you can email me at R-A Dollface, DOLLFACE @gmail.com, Raw Dollface, one word, @gmail.com. I can be reached there. And if you're interested in working with me in the capacity of doing campaigns, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Latricia Vito, who was on the park board. She's a park board president, I think, and she was one of the very first Minnesotans to recognize my media abilities, probably about 5 years ago, and gave me a contract to do a media campaign. And so I've done quite a few with her, and she sort of gave us the platform to start working really and building that. So shout out to Latricia.
Let me commend you and her in particular, because what she did is what we have to do. There are many of us who are in the Department of Health, the Department of Human Services, Department of Transportation, Department of Education, who control budgets and programs and planning. And we can both either choose or influence who is chosen to do the work. The problem is that there is a history of of white people using white people. It's the old boys network. And in part, it's a reflection of laziness, right? The inability even to act on the governor's thrust or intent, and the lieutenant governor's intent to be inclusive and to be diverse. Those are lofty and appropriate aims and ideals. But if the people in the middle don't move to act in that fashion, it is all for naught. And so a lot of times, Black people who are in middle and executive positions in state agencies, in education, in colleges and universities, purchasing divisions of corporations, do have an opportunity to make decisions or influence decisions. I'm using this opportunity, Raisha Williams, to invite them to look at their portfolio, and if there are ways they can buy from you, from DF Media, they certainly should. You should be almost like in the picture in my mind now. I don't know if you ever saw it, the movie Putney Swope. You ever saw that? Brenda, have you seen Putney Swope?
I remember the title, but I don't remember the movie.
Get a chance to look at it. But Putney Swope.
Putney Smoke. Okay.
Putney Swope. SWOPE. Great
Swope.
movie. But the picture in my mind is of this Black creative team, and people lined up with bags of money because they were so powerful and so good, and they could call the shots. So you should be in that position, and
I'm claiming it.
We can put you in that position. So I'm
Thank
speaking to the managers and purchasing managers in city government in Minneapolis and St. Paul, to those in county government who have an articulated assignment to diversity and inclusion in purchasing. I'm speaking to you right now, and I'm speaking to you in state government. If your mission includes diversity, equity, and you have a role to play in communications, I'm inviting you to take the initiative to reach out to Raisha Williams at DF Media, because you can make the difference. Your business ought to be so busy right now that people have to get on a waiting line to get this creative from you. So I'm hoping, and I'm claiming that for you as well.
Thank you.
And so here's the other thing. I've been interviewing companies like yours and mine who have contracts with the health department. I want to speak to us as well. We should all be using Raisha Williams, and Dollface Media for the creatives that we're doing together in this work to prevent, mitigate the spread of COVID-19. Now, the big picture is coming up now with the vaccine. And there's this question of ambivalence in our community that's deserved and appropriate, but somehow we got to communicate so that people can make the best choices, informed choices. So what do you think about that? How do we play a role as communicators, Ra, in ensuring our people have the tools we need to make the best decision for us? What do you think?
I think that, so your point is dead on, and thank you so much for giving me so much support and push. Like, I need it. I think that, so there's a list that comes out with all of the providers that came out with all the contractors. And I think that sometimes we try to do, and the contracts are not big, right? Like we know, right? They're pennies on pennies for the work that's being asked of us. And that's the reality. And that happens often with us, as Black contractors. But we also have to recognize that we can't do everything. So I recognize that I couldn't produce quality videos, right, the way I wanted to directly myself. So I had to cut up the checks and pay these other Black creatives. And what we have to recognize is that that may be the case. And so don't try to do everything yourself, and don't try to be everything yourself to keep what the finances, for lack of better words. The reality of it is like, reach out to your fellow creators and partners and contractors, because also they might have resources for you that are free that you may not have known of or known about. Oftentimes, unfortunately, Minnesota, and I didn't see this growing up. This is new to me. People coming here is like, oh, Black people in Minnesota are very different. But growing up, it wasn't like that. Like you said, we went to Africa. My whole family went to Africa with you. And so when you had it, we supported it, and so there was a support community. And we have to get back to that as Black people and not worry about the little pennies and the peanuts. But if we collectively work together on projects and know that this project might be divided amongst 5, but if we do it right and we do it in a way that's really tangible, the next contract we can demand more, and we go to the table together and demand an equal piece for each other. I see the Native American community do that. I see the Asian, I see the Somali community do it all the time. And so we just have to remind ourselves, like, we're better and stronger together. The old proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to, what's the saying? What is it? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to, come on, Brenda, do you know what I'm trying to say?
I know it, and I can't think of it now.
And I just wrote it in Dr. B's article.
Isn't that something? We can't. But anyways, that's the same. And so it's just about us realizing that we're stronger together, and we will go much further together. A few of us good Negroes got some degrees, and we're like, we're in there, but you still get isolated in these corporations if you don't work with your other African American or minority group members. And so just reminding ourselves, like, let's let's honor the fact that we're of this heritage. We should be proud that we're part of this heritage because we built America, and just support each other and know that we really have the talents that we need. We are the hope that we're looking for. And just closing my statement, one of my most frustrating things, especially in the education field in Minnesota, is like they can't find good Black teachers. But that's ridiculous. All the HBCUs have these amazing educators coming out looking for work, and they would certainly travel just like their white counterpart, peers and college students to get a job. And so, to your point, we need to be more intentional about finding these Black vendors and contractors and business owners if we're saying we want to be equitable, because we're out here. Or don't find you don't have to come find us. Put the information out there and we'll come to it.
That's
so
right.
just make it public enough so that we can know about it.
And so, and for Black people who are in these positions in corporations or in city, county, state government, I believe that you are going to bring real value to the organization that you represent, that is counting on you really to bring authentic engagement, to recognize and to champion assets that would ultimately make their organizations better. Everybody knows that strength is in diversity. The things that are mono simply don't have the same staying power and resilience as things that are amalgams, right? That are made up of the blending of the best of the best. And so what we represent is bringing the best of the best to the marketplace. And I think that's important. Let me close, Raisha Williams, by thanking you so much and giving you a chance to talk. More about what's this image here? More about your businesses and products. What are we looking at now?
So I'm sorry, I started burning my beans. I had beans cooking on the stove and I burnt them. So what we're looking at right now is our recent product line called Heritage Tea and Beverages. And this line of products is beverages that we had at the Heritage Tea House prior to closing that we decided to bottle. Lots of people were asking for them. They loved them. And we just thought, certainly if it's a demand for the product, why not bring it to the market? So the front one is our Hibiscus Crunch, which is our bestseller. We're still at the US Bank Stadium when they open back up, and that would always sell out before halftime. And so it was just a really good seller that we're currently trying to get into stores and get to the market, but we've been selling it at pop-ups. And then we have our teas, which is some amazing, we have 5 different variations of tea: chai, black, herbal, wellness, and green. And they've been selling like hotcakes. So if you're interested in any of our products, go to heritageteabeverages.com. That's www.heritageteabeverages.com. Or you can Google Heritage Tea and Beverages and it'll pop up as well. And thank you for giving us that opportunity to give that plug. I wasn't selflessly plugging. I just didn't want you to see me run away and try to catch my burning beans.
I hope you catch the burning beans. Did you catch them? I hope you did.
I got them. I got them.
Good.
They're a little burnt. I'm going to get yelled at by Miss Rosemary, but it's okay.
Well, you know what? This has just been such a wonderful visit with you, Ra. I am so pleased to have this conversation with you. I'm happy to meet young Master Rocky Buckanaga. You got a champion there in front of you there. And so we will continue to pray and watch for and support his success as he moves towards his mission in the universe. Which I believe will be significant and important. And so
and prayers for your family.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you. Virus. Thank you.
So we're doing this 7 days a week. If you have something to you want to share, we want you to be a part of this. You can connect with us either on YouTube or on Facebook. Reach out to us at Insight News if you wish. But we think these conversations are extremely important. We're glad to do it. Thank the health department for underwriting these conversations. And we thank you for what you're doing in community to help keep our community safe and hopefully sustaining ourselves through the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Al McFarlane. We'll see you again tomorrow at this time. Thank you, Brenda Gray. Thank you, Raisha Williams. And thanks to
Nice
Kelvin Curry.
Thank you.
And
who's,
happy
producing this program.
holidays.
Say bye. Happy holidays. Say bye.
Bye-bye,
Okay.
Rocky.
Bye.